Hello, everybody. This is Corsair Mack, past president of the Illinois Mental Health Counselors Association. And today we're going to be going over an old piece of legislation, House Bill 4736, which coincides with the Co-Responders Pilot Program. I know this is a part of another bill, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but the Co-Responder Pilot Program allows mental health professionals to ride along with police officers out in the field to help with different mental health cases that police officers come in contact with on a daily basis. All right, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So before we actually get into the law, just to give you guys a heads up, this was signed back in May, I believe, that allows mental health professionals to ride along with police officers. So the pilot programs will start in Peoria, Springfield, East St. Louis, and Waukegan. So I did a piece on this on my own personal YouTube channel for my private practice, and I was trying to find some updated information about how the program was going. But since I could not, I'll just go ahead and read you all the bill in regards to what the program specifically entails. So let's get into it. All right, so in regards to the bill, like I said, I'll leave a link in the description if you all want to read it for yourself. But it is an add-on to the Crime Reduction Task Force Act, as you can see here. And don't worry, I'm not going to read the entire act. I'm just going to read the parts pertaining to the co-pilot program. So let's get into it. All right, here we are to the Co-Responder Pilot Program. So I'm going to go ahead and read this to you all again. Link will be in the description if you guys want to read this on your own. All right, so section 11-1.5-5 definitions as used in the section. Department means the East St. Louis Police Department, the Peoria Police Department, the Springfield Police Department, or the Waukegan Police Department. Social worker means a licensed clinical social worker or licensed social worker, as those terms are defined in the Clinical Social Worker and Social Worker Practice Act. Station adjustment has the meaning given to that term in section 1-3 of the Juvenile Courts Act of 1987. Unit means a co-responder unit created under this division. All right, so section 1-1.5-10, establishment, responsibilities, and focus. A, each department shall establish, subject to appropriation, a co-responder unit no later than 6 months after the effective date of this amendatory act of the 102nd General Assembly, including the hiring of personnel as provided in this division. B, along with the duties described in sections 11-1.5-15 and 11-1.5-20, the unit's social workers are responsible for conducting follow-up visits for victims who may benefit from mental or behavioral health services. The unit shall utilize community resources, including services provided through the Department of Human Services and social workers in juvenile and adult investigations to connect individuals with appropriate services. C, the unit's primary area of focus shall be victim assistance. All right, section 11-1.5-15, duties. The duties of the unit include, but are not limited to, 1, serving as a resource to a department's community to identify and coordinate the social services available to residents who are victims of criminal acts. 2, networking with area social services agencies to develop a community mutual resource system and wraparound services, a team-based collaborative case management approach for victims in need of social service assistance, and fostering relationships with community organizations not limited to area hospitals, school districts, juvenile justice system, and various community groups. 3, employing social workers of the unit who shall A, upon request, provide community presentations on an array of social service topics. B, assist individuals in diversion from the criminal justice system by addressing problems or concerns through therapeutic intervention. C, facilitate follow-up treatment or referral to the appropriate community resource organization. D, when requested, assist department employees in securing services for those in need and provide educational information to help the employee better understand the circumstances or the community concerned. E, meet with walk-in requesting information or assistance. F, protect the interests, confidentiality, and civil rights of the client. G, train social work interns who may be working within the unit. H, be on call after regular business hours as needed. I, inform clients prior to providing services under this division what communications are confidential pursuant to applicable provisions of state or federal law, rule, or regulation, and what may be shared with the social worker's employer. J, consult on all cases as needed by the department. K, perform other functions as provided in section 11-1.15-20 or otherwise needed by a department. All right. 4, employing social workers who shall work with victims of criminals as follows. A, review police reports to identify known victims and contact them to offer direct and referred services. B, assist victims with filing police reports and victim compensation forms. C, provide safety planning services to victims. D, provide crisis counseling services to victims and their families. E, conduct home visits within victims in conjunction with police backup when needed. F, assist victims in obtaining orders of protection. A social worker in the performance of his or her duties under this subparagraph is an advocate as that term is defined in section 112A-3 of the Code of Criminal Procedures of 1963. G, facilitate court advocacy services for victims, including arranging for transportation to and from court. H, maintain confidential case files, which include social history, diagnoses, formulation of treatment, and documentation of services. I, perform miscellaneous personal advocacy tasks for victims as needed. J, oversee activities to ensure those victims within the most urgent need are given the highest priority for services. K, provide status updates on the progress of a victim's case. And then we get to 5, adhering to and understanding the applicable policies, procedures, and orders of a department. 6, attaining department established unit goals. 7, maintaining a positive relationship with coworkers as well as the investigators from area police departments and facilitating the exchange of information and resources pertaining to investigations that would not violate confidentiality as protected pursuant to applicable provisions of state or federal law, rule, or regulation. 8, keep informed on crime trends within the city. 9, remaining obedient and responsive to all lawful verbal and written orders issued by superiors. 10, completing police reports and other required documentation. 11, performing such other duties as may be required by state law, city ordinance, and department policy, or as may be assigned by a sworn supervisor. All right, then we get to section 11-1-5-20, social workers. A, unit social workers may be referred to as victim service specialists. Social workers are responsible for working as a team to provide trauma-informed crisis intervention, case management, advocacy, and ongoing emotional support to the victims of all crimes, with extra attention to crimes that cause a high level of victim trauma. B, unit social workers involved in a case under adult investigation may perform the following responsibilities. 1, work with domestic violence investigators. 2, assisting victims with finding safe housing, transportation, and legal assistance. 3, providing other needs resources for victims and their families, including working with children who witness or experience domestic violence. 4, assisting victims with their children and setting up counseling. 5, helping reduce victims' chances of re-entry into violent situations. Then we get to C, unit social workers involved in a case under juvenile investigations may perform the following responsibilities. 1, work with families that have habitual runaways and determining why the juveniles keep running away. 2, providing services to families where there have been domestic disturbances between juveniles and their parents. 3, providing resources for parents to help their children who are struggling in school or need transportation to school. 4, providing guidance and advice to families of a juvenile who has been arrested and what the next steps, options are in the process. 5, assisting a juvenile with station adjustments, creating a station adjustment program in the department. 6, providing service to juvenile victims and families where the Department of Children and Family Services either did not get involved or did not provide services. 7, assisting with overcoming feuds between groups of juveniles. 8, assisting in instances where the families are not cooperative with policies. 9, discussing with families and juveniles options and solutions to prevent future arrest. 10, maintain a list of families in need that the unit or department have had contact with for department or city special events. 11, helping facilitate or assist a department in community-oriented events, such as setting up an event where officers or unit personnel read books with younger children, talking about cybercriminals and social media, or having an officer or unit personnel visit a school for other activities. And 12, helping reduce juvenile recidivism. All right, so section 11-1.5-25, training. All unit employees shall be trained in crisis intervention and integrating communications, assessments, and tactics. Integrating communications, assessment, and tactics training shall be designed for situations involving a person who are unarmed or are armed with weapons and who may be experiencing a mental health or other crisis. The training shall incorporate different skills sets into a unified training approach that emphasizes scenario-based exercises as well as lecture and case study opportunities. All right, so next, section 11-1.5-30, privilege or confidential communications. Nothing contained in this division shall be construed to impair or limit the confidentiality of communications otherwise protected by law as privileged or confidential, including but not limited to information communicated in confidence to a social worker or social work intern who works under the direct supervision of a social worker. No social worker shall be subjected to adverse employment action, the threat of adverse employment action, or any manner of discrimination because the employee is acting or has acted to protect communication as privileged or confidential pursuant to applicable provisions of state or federal law, rule, or regulation. All right, section 11-1.5-99, repeal. This division is repealed January 1st, 2029, meaning this will be reviewed to see if anything needs to be updated or anything like that. All right, so now we'll get into my final thoughts. Alrighty, so my final thoughts here. I think this is a great program. I wish that counselors could be included on it, but then again, that's just me. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Other than that, thank you all very much. This is Corsair Mac, past president of the Illinois Mental Health Counselors Association, signing out, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.